Dog owners are usually quite offended by humping. So when the dog humps them, humps another dog, humps the air, humps their toys, humps things, and it's usually frowned upon in the human world. Well, in the dog world, it's actually a normal thing for them to do. It's as normal as sniffing, as normal as greeting, as normal as scent marking up something. Humping is a natural, normal behaviour. It's a lot of people think that it's like an act of rudeness, or it's a sign that the dog doesn't see you as some kind of god anymore, but it really isn't about that. It's more about how the dog feels on the inside. So when you have excessive humping, usually it's an outlet, and it's an outlet for either overexcitement, over anxiousness, or frustration. So frustration is when a dog wants something and they can't get to it, can't have it anymore, or if they're wanting attention and they're not getting it. So humping usually serves a need. Humping, when it comes to dogs, can be they're humping another dog in order to try and instigate play or some form of interaction if they don't have the social skill ability to know how to do that. And in some cases, humping can be to try and calm another dog down. So they will actually hump another dog because they are being too much. So it can look differently in social situations. And sometimes dogs will only hump guests, but they don't hump their owners. And usually that's a sign that there's a little bit of social anxiety there, and they're not quite sure what to do. Usually everyone sort of stood up and saying hello and the greeting, and they're coming in. So if you do have a humper, what you need to do in order to help them not hump so much is identify what is the cause for it, what is the circumstances they're most likely to do it in. And I say, if it's within greeting situations, certainly when it comes to in a house, it can help to have your dog away when people come in, let them sit down and then let the dog in, giving them something to chew out the excitement or the anxiety instead of humping it out. So remember, these are emotions that the dog is feeling. They feel this way and they need to get it out somehow. Humping is very self-reinforcing in that way, and by self-reinforcing I mean they don't need you to do anything to make it rewarding for them. They do it because it makes them feel good and it gets out the way they're feeling. So if you can provide them things to either chew it out or lick it out, or just waiting for that excitement to drop before you allowing them in, that can be very helpful. If you have a dog who gets really humpy around other dogs and it's not a hormonal thing, so of course dogs do hump when they have like high hormones, or when they because it's testosterone related, but keep in mind that females hump more so than males, and neutered dogs hump more so than entire dogs. So it's not always a hormone thing. And if you do have a dog who humps other dogs in greetings, the chances are they're hanging around in the situation too long, and it's causing them some kind of overexcitement or, again, anxiety, and they're trying to hump in order to relieve that. So the best thing to do for your dog in that situation is to greet and move on, greet and move on. So they're allowed to see dogs, but you don't stay in the moment for too long, particularly if they're on lead, as this is much more likely to happen. Humping, if it's in play, so when you're playing with your dog they then start humping, this is just overexcitement. So you can stop the game if you get humped, and you can give them something else to hump, like large toys rather than yourself. That can often be helpful, but sometimes addressing the way that you're playing with them can be a really good tool to use. So making sure that you're not being too much in your play, you're not invading their space too much, you're keeping it quite low key. So if you're doing tug of war, it's like left to right, keeping it low, keeping it fairly calm, and then building up the intensity over time, and not doing anything that causes big rushes of adrenaline, because again they need to get rid of that adrenaline somehow. Big rushes of adrenaline come from things that are either frightening or overexciting, overstimulating. The most common cause is bull throwing. So if you are a bull thrower for your dog, you're giving them loads and loads of adrenaline, and cortisol is the stress hormone that follows adrenaline. So you then end up with a dog who's very heightened state, and they will more likely hump in different situations to try and calm that feeling down and to try and get rid of some of that in their body. So let me know if your dog is a humper. I imagine if you have a Labrador, it probably is. Labradors and Golden Retrievers are incredibly prone to humping, so are Vizslas, which is quite interesting. So let me know what you have, let me know if they're a humper, and let me know if your dog was a humper, did they stop? Or has it always been going on? So as I say, some of it is hormonal, some of it can be helped with things like chemical castration, neutering, things like that. But more often than not, it's actually not a hormonal issue anyway, certainly if it's popping up in different situations that are nothing to do with another dog or scent of another dog. So I look forward to reading your comments.